here, and I'm going to be doing another reaction video, and this time I'm going to be watching an Angry Video Game Nerd video. Yeah, this is the first time I'm going to be watching an Angry Video Game Nerd video on Dan Rice Reacts, even though I've seen a lot of them before, by the way. There's about 204 episodes, as I know of Angry Video Game Nerd videos. Right, I'm going to get to watching this right now. Here we go. Right, so the video I'm going to be watching is called Chronologically Confused About Sequel Titles by the Angry Video Game Nerd. I think I must have seen this before, but it's been a long time ago, because this did come out in 2006, this video, uploaded, so watch it again then. This time I'm going to do a reaction video on it. Here we go. Contains harsh language. Yeah, I do a lot of harsh language, especially on my videos, but I don't care. Say what I like. There's another Chronologically Confused video thing Angry Video Game Nerd did about The Legend of Zelda. I watched that quite a while ago.
Let me take you back to when Capcom's Street Fighter 2 came out. I never heard of the first one, but hey, this is an awesome game. Can't wait for Street Fighter 3. Then comes Street Fighter 2, the Champion Edition.
The original
Oh,
game,
cool.
original
Street
version.
Fighter 3's next, right? Nope, Street Fighter 2 Turbo. Okay, awesome. Can't wait for Street Fighter 3. Super Street Fighter 2. Cool. Street Fighter 3. Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo. What the fuck? At first I thought all these updates
Nowadays, while the
were
original
nice
games
to
keep
hold
updating
you over,
online,
but how many
makes it
times
easier.
can you update the same fucking game? It's getting ridiculous. I'm not going to buy it again. Well, then finally comes Street Fighter Alpha, then Street Fighter Alpha 2, and after that, I honestly lost track. There eventually was a Street Fighter 3, like 9 million versions of it, but there was also Street Fighter 0, Street Fighter EX,
You've got Street Fighter 4 and 5, and I'll be getting Street Fighter 6 when it
EX2 Plus.
comes out.
Not to mention, way back on the NES, there was Street Fighter 2010, and I couldn't tell you where that
Mortal
fits
Kombat
in.
and all that, but don't mind a bit of
Speaking
Tekken
of
every
Capcom,
now and then.
Mega
Tekken
Man's
8's coming
another
out soon
series
as well.
where the numbering got confusing. There's Mega Man 1 through 6 on the Nintendo, but then on the Super Nintendo, there's Mega Man
got Mega Man
X,
games.
which at the
Well, the
time
main
I thought
ones,
it meant
anyway.
Mega Man 10, but then came Mega Man X2 and X3. Strangely enough, there was a Mega Man 7 on Super Nintendo after all. That's right, two different series going on at the same time. Then on the PlayStation consoles, there was Mega Man X4, X5, X6, X7, and X8. There was even a Mega Man 8, a regular Mega Man 8, on PlayStation. Now, only if they made a Mega Man 9, it would come full circle. It doesn't end there either. What's
Mega
this?
Man 10
Mega
and
Man
11,
Battle
that's the
Network
last
series?
one they got so
Mega
far.
Man 64? Did they really make it that far? No, that was just the Nintendo 64's stupid gimmick of putting 64 at the end of every fucking title. Another thing that really grinds my shit is when the Japanese and American releases of games differ. The results can also be pretty confusing. A good example is when Super Mario Bros. 2 in Japan wasn't released in America till later, but what we got in its place was a completely different version, though it was still called Super Mario Bros. 2, and
Yeah,
the
I prefer that
Japanese
one,
one
to be
came
honest.
later as The Lost Levels. The Final Fantasy series is the prime example. Not being a hardcore fan, I'll attempt to explain it to the best of my knowledge. From what I understand,
really play
Final Fantasy
games.
2, at the
Never
time
had
of its
any.
Japanese release, wasn't released in the US. Neither was Final Fantasy 3. But Final Fantasy 4 came out here, and because we didn't have 2 or 3, it wouldn't have made sense to call it 4, so what do? They call it 2. Now, Final Fantasy 5 wasn't released here either. So, when 6 came out, that became 3. Final Fantasy 3 also happens to be one of my
Japan used to
all-time
get a lot of
favorite
games a
games
lot
on
earlier
the
than
Super Nintendo.
Americans and Europeans.
And I remember that after that, Squaresoft
Even
started
release games
releasing the
that-
next Final Fantasy games on
They don't get
PlayStation.
released in America and
Things
Europe.
changed, and now they weren't fucking
Or
with
the
the
other way around
titles
sometimes.
anymore. So when Final Fantasy 7 came out, they just called it Final Fantasy 7.
Well,
And
that's
that's
popular
where the
on PS1.
confusion began. I wondered,
What about it,
what the
obviously?
fuck happened to 4, 5, and 6? But what I really should have been wondering, little did I know, what the fuck happened to 2, 3, and 5? And once I figured that out, I was like, so there were other Final Fantasy games we didn't know about? I was playing 6 all along and not 3? What a bunch of fucking bullfuck.
They did release
Now let's
the
talk
early
about
ones, I
movies
think later
now,
on the Game
'cause
Boy
I have a lot
Advance
to say.
and other-
One of the things that really
systems.
brings my piss to a
don't
boil
plan
is
on
when
saying
there's a
I play
movie
Final
that
Fantasy
has a
games.
whole bunch of sequels, all conveniently numbered, but then they suddenly decide to stop numbering them. Take Halloween, for example. Halloween, Halloween 2, Halloween 3, Halloween 4, Halloween 5, Halloween The Curse of Michael Myers, Halloween H2O, and Halloween Resurrection.
I'll be watching Halloween Ends.
If they continue like this, years from now, future generations aren't going to know which order these films came in unless they do a little research first. What I want to know is why was it okay to number the first 5, but not after that? Like they're embarrassed they made so many. Not to mention each one just sucks harder and harder.
Well, Home Alone movies had Home Alone 1, 2, 3 and 4,
and
then they had Home Alone,
necessary
the Holiday Heist, and then
fucking number them. The
Home
Star
Alone,
Trek series did the same thing.
Home Sweet
Right
Home
now
Alone,
there's
that's what
10
6
of them.
movies called.
Star Trek 1 through 6 were all numbered,
the first two
but when they
movies.
stopped using the original cast from the show and started using the cast from Star Trek The Next Generation, they dropped the numbers from the films
That's
and
popular
called
on
them Star
Sky
Trek
One, I remember my
Generations,
dad used to watch
Star
it.
Trek First
The
Contact,
Next Generation.
Star Trek Insurrection, and Star Trek Nemesis.
When I was a
Okay,
kid,
well that's
I
real
used to watch
fine, but where'd the fucking numbers go? If they couldn't call Star
first
Trek
6
Generation Star Trek 7, then why didn't they just call it Star Trek The Next Generation off the show, and then call the next one Star Trek
That's
The Next
simple.
Generation 2, and just start a new line of sequels? But hey, some of the original cast was in Star Trek Generations, so instead, they should have called it Star Trek 7 / The Next Generation Part 1.
Most illogical.
Actually, never mind, just fuck it. I've always praised the Rocky movies. What a perfect string of sequel titles.
Yeah, I love
Rocky,
watching
Rocky
movies.
2,
Rocky
Rocky
4 is my
3,
favourite,
Rocky
the
4,
original
and Rocky 5. No subtitles,
Like the first
all
5 anyway,
Roman
that's
numbers,
like
consistent,
fourth one.
perfect. But they're gonna fuck it all up now by calling the new one Rocky Balboa. Seriously, are you kidding me? Rocky Balboa?
Hi, my name is Rocky Balboa.
Why can't it be Rocky 6? Rocky Balboa sounds
simple.
like it's the first one, but just adding his last name. And what if they made another one? Would they include his middle initial and then his date of birth? But what a shitload of fuck. What
Then
kind of
his
stupid
weight and then his
excuse for a
height.
title is this? Reveal more of the character's name. It's like making a prequel of Forrest Gump and just calling it Forrest. Now with talk of Rambo 4 coming out, what are they going to do? Call it John Rambo?
Your worst nightmare.
And speaking of Rambo, that's a series that somehow completely changed its title.
Yeah, I know about
The
this,
first
obviously.
one was called First Blood. That's it. First Blood. The second one was called Rambo, First Blood Part 2. And then the third one was called Rambo 3. So what, they just forgot about First Blood?
Fuck 'em.
The correct title would be Rambo 2, First Blood Part 3. The Alien series is also pretty fucked up. They start with Alien, then Aliens, which makes sense. First there was one alien and now there's many. The title's
Could have been Alien
consistent with
2.
the plot,
Called
and
Alien
it
2 would have
works.
been better.
But then, uh-oh, they make a third one. Oh gee, what are we going to call it? Can't be Alienses. That won't work. Besides,
Let's
there's
call it
only
more
one
aliens,
alien
I don't
again.
know, whatever
So let's
they
just
call
call it Alien 3. That works. There's not really much else they could have called it. But now you'd think it's time to start numbering
Or
the
Aliens
sequels
again,
from
whether
now
they call,
on. You
call it
think?
that.
Or would that just be too traditional? Well, the next one's called Alien Resurrection. At first I thought it was a fucking joke. Apart from resurrection being one of the most overused words to be found
there's
in
a
a
lot of them.
sequel,
The
there's no
resurrection in the
reason not
title.
to use the number 4. I mean,
Load
you
of
numbered
movies.
the last movie. Why can't you number this one? So what do you want to do? Do you want to number them or use cliche words? I don't care which, but make up your fucking minds. You don't start numbering sequels and then go back to not numbering them. And there's more than one alien again. So why isn't the title plural like in Aliens? What were they thinking? The title of Bruce Lee's first major film was called The Big Boss, but when they released it in the US, the American distributors, or whoever was responsible, decided to change the title to Fists of Fury. Well, okay, well that's just fine, but the next one happened to be called Fist of Fury. So, uh-oh, we fucked up. What are we going to call it here in the US? We can't call it Fist of Fury because we changed the last one to Fists of Fury. Call it the Chinese Connection. And from now on, just call the movies whatever the fuck they're originally called. Jackie Chan made a movie called Armor of God, and the sequel was called Armor of God 2, Operation Condor. Well, when that came out in the US, there was a little difficulty. Armor of God wasn't out yet, so they decided to release the sequel here first and change the title to just Operation Condor. Well, after that, Armor of God actually did make an American release, and it was called Operation Condor 2, Armor of God, a complete reversal. Now let's talk about the zombie series. If you live
Yeah,
in
the
America
subtitles
and
and
you're
the
trying
titles
to
usually-
follow these
the main
movies,
titles usually
you'll find
the other way
Zombie
around.
1 through 6,
Japan
but there's
and
no
America
Zombie
and
2.
even Europe, there's
What
like
the fuck? A movie series
Even
with a
Wario
missing
Land Simulaland
sequel?
3 was the other way
Well,
around for
here's the
Japan, and then the same
explanation.
for Resident
It
Evil
started off
7
with George
Biohazard.
Romero's
So,
Dawn of the
just swap
Dead.
it around,
Yes,
it's called
that's
the
right.
Biohazard
The
7
sequel to
Resident
Night of the
Evil.
Living Dead. The European release of Dawn of the Dead was recut and the title was changed to Zombie. Then there was an Italian-made sequel called Zombie 2. Yes, that's right. A sequel to a sequel which spawned another line of sequels. Jeez. Well, when Zombie 2 came out in
spin-offs,
America,
man.
they couldn't call it Zombie 2 because there was no zombie. Calling it Dawn of the Dead 2 would have been wrong because it has nothing to do with Mr. Romero's original version, so they just called it Zombie instead. Yes, Zombie 2 is now Zombie. Not to be confused with the Italian version of Dawn of the Dead, which is also called Zombie. So, when Zombie 3 came out in America, they figured, okay, fuck it. It's only going to keep getting more confusing, so just fucking call it Zombie 3 like it is. But there's no Zombie 2. Fuck it, don't change the titles anymore. Now the UK, caught in between this mess, just decided to leave the title of Dawn of the Dead alone and change Zombie 2 to Zombie Flesh Eaters. Then Zombie 3 would be Zombie Flesh Eaters 2, and so on and so on. Speaking of movie series with missing titles, whatever happened to the Naked Gun movies? First off, why is the sequel called Naked Gun 2.5? What's half about it? After all, I assume they incorporated half the script from the third movie into it, and therefore includes half the next movie. I guess that makes sense, except for the fact that I never saw Naked Gun 3, or 4, or 5, or any of them up till Naked Gun 33 and a third. I mean, how the fuck did I miss that many sequels? I couldn't even find them anywhere. They aren't even listed in Leslie Nielsen's filmography.
So, I mean, there'll be a
I
Naked
guess
Gun
he wasn't in
34,
those.
then, well, it's
Somebody
only got
help me, I
3 quarters
can't
of the
find
next
them
movie, then,
anywhere.
wouldn't it?
Where's
If
the
it
other
was like
half
that.
of Naked Gun 3 and all the others up to 32? I can't fucking find them. Where are they? I think it's pretty
basically, there's only
impressive
3
if they're all
films,
numbered,
obviously.
and that's got to be a record
2 and
for
then
amount of
3.
sequels to a comedy.
It's cool,
But
they've got
damn,
different
that one
creators'
just blows
names.
my mind. Well, I gotta calm down now. So that's enough of my gripes. Thanks for listening to my rants, and good fucking night.
Right, well, that's everyone. If you did like the video, please do leave a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed, then please do subscribe and click on the notification bell to keep notified of all my uploads. Well, thanks for watching. I'm Dan. See you and have a good day out there.